Welcome! Transparencies in new versions of Mac Practice have been redesigned so that new features can be supported, as well as support for future versions of macOS and Better Workflow. One of the first changes you'll notice is in the sidebar. Transparency types and transparency blocks have now been separated into two different sidebar nodes. Transparency types can still be checked and unchecked here just like before. Instead of editing the attributes in the drawer, you can now adjust these settings in the main window. Here you will find the Rules, All Blocks, and History tabs, and they still work the same as they always have. The Transparency Blocks folder in the sidebar will now show you all blocks that are visible in the selected date range, and you can click on them to navigate to these specific blocks. You'll also notice that you can now see a preview of your appointments dimmed out while you are working on your transparencies. So that way you can see how the transparencies are being placed in relation to your existing appointments. You can't select or edit the appointments here, so click on one of the appointment nodes to go back to editing appointments. To make a new transparency block, click on the Transparency Block node or anywhere in the Transparency Block sidebar and click and drag to create a new block. When you let go of the mouse, you'll see a popover open up that will let you set the block details. The last transparency type you used will be selected by default, but you can change the type or add a new transparency type on the fly. The block color and rules are going to be determined by the transparency type that you're using. Go ahead and save when you're done editing your block. If you want to make changes to an existing block, make sure you're on the Transparency Block node in the sidebar and double-click on the block. The popover will open again and you can make edits. For example, you can change the block name and add notes. If you want to make changes to the block's resource or start or end time, you can also now do this in the block popover. You can still also make these changes by dragging and adjusting the block in the calendar view. You can also repeat transparency blocks the same as in other versions. Thank you for using Mac Practice. We hope these changes to transparencies make them easier and more delightful to use.